that man is becoming so powerful. He's got himself into the US government. He's trying to infiltrate UK politics. He runs the skies with his satellites. He's running your car with automation. He's trying to get robots into your house. And he's running the biggest social media platform. And like you say, I've had it too, running the algorithms where I unfollowed Elon Musk, but I was still getting a For You, and this is recommended for you.
Yeah.
And if we let this carry on, he's going to be such a powerful man.
There's two universes.
Yeah.
There will be people listening to this, and they're getting in touch with me, and my job is to try and build a bridge between the two universes.
Yeah.
For whom almost all of this has completely passed them by. For two reasons. One, because they're not on social media, or because they no longer get their news from traditional sources. So they can go in two ways. They can either be ambivalent and ignorant about all of this, or they can be getting their news from unhealthy and dishonest sites and believing all sorts of nonsense. So you've got that completely weird dichotomy between two universes, in one of which this is the most important thing going on, which you've just brilliantly articulated, and in another, people would not even be sure who Elon Musk was. Isn't he the guy that makes the electric cars?
I think the government thing, him buddying up with Trump, is a test. And the test, he did it. He's in. He's through. Right, where do I go next? Where can I go to get people on my side? He's obviously met Farage, and they don't agree on everything. So he's going to try Robinson. And Robinson will go, yep, you do what you want here, mate. You give me the money, we'll work this together. And then we've got here.
Which would actually be fine. Even with all the money in the world, Robinson's never going to get above 3 or 4% in any political scenario. The alternative analysis of what you described, the reality you describe, is that this does Farage a favour because it allows him to pretend that he's somehow not quite as toxic as some of his fellow travellers.
Keir Starmer, I'm sure, is a very nice man, but he does strike me as being a bit weak and looks like he's going to burst into tears every time he looks into a camera, which is one thing. But we mustn't forget that we wouldn't be in this mess now if, say, Merrick Garland had arrested Donald Trump very shortly after the Capitol riots.
These ships have sailed, haven't they?
Yeah, 4 years ago today. But I just think that it feels like they're almost testing the water for all European rulers or politicians to find out who the weak ones are. And I just think, trying not to be too rude, but I think I'd tell Elon Musk where to go.
Yes, I mean, he kind of has. So cojones is a very felicitous word, but it doesn't translate into immediate policy. What do you think he should do beyond what he's already done this morning?
Oh, God knows. But I just cannot believe that it's come to this.
That speech you've been playing throughout this last segment, boring as hell. And I'm trying to listen to it. I'm trying to pay attention. But the dude just has no pizzazz. And when you're talking about it in this context, when you're talking about him in response to what is essentially the cool kid riding in on a skateboard with a backwards cap, slagging off your mum, that ain't going to cut it. Like, it ain't going to cut it at all. And I'm not saying he could do this, but there needs to be somebody who can sling mud back at the people who are slinging mud.
Well, and then who's right then? Who has? Where's morality left?
Well, you see, this is it. You're talking about it from the aspect of Queensberry rules.
No, I'm an expert on the dangers of turning up with a copy of the Queensberry Rules to a knife fight. But Keir Starmer is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. So, I mean, rhetoric aside, and winning analogies about skateboarders aside, what does getting dirty look like?
Getting dirty looks like is hiring somebody else who he can have plausible denial, or at least use as a scapegoat if it gets a little bit too hot. Somebody who can go out into the public eye, say the things that he's not able to, and call Elon Musk.
What things?
Okay, for example, Elon Musk comes in and starts, well, essentially, for lack of a better description, slagging off the UK government about their behaviours towards this type of stuff. Point anything else. Point out his hypocrisy. He's joined a country that has its own history with some particular sex scandals in the last X amount of years.
It's not the job of politicians. I can do that. You can do that. It's not the job of a
politician. I agree. That's what I'm saying. He needs to hire somebody. I mean, he needs to hire somebody like you, even. Somebody who is able to articulately dismantle the opposite side. Because you're not actually
I liked the speeches today. I take your point, and you're absolutely welcome to lob rotten tomatoes at them, but at some point the truth has to prevail, And he's just
he can
calmly and dully telling the truth. You want someone to come into the picture and start lobbing abuse at Elon Musk. I mean, I can't help thinking Elon Musk would relish that. And remember, where do you do it? You've led us into territory that I've been exploring for years now. Where do you do that? Because you can't do it on Twitter. He'll shut you down. So what you're essentially saying with your Queensberry Rules analogy is that Elon Musk owns the boxing ring and you're going to sit in row Z shouting little insults at the top of your voice. That's not going to achieve anything. There's no point me going on Twitter anymore to make the points that I'm making to you because my algorithm's completely broken. I can scroll endless. I never see messages that are directed to me unless they're dripping with racist, vitriolic abuse. He's broken it, but he still owns the boxing ring. So where does Starmer take the fight that you describe, if not into the arena that Elon Musk owns?
Well, there is other avenues. There's other social medias. There's YouTube. There's your Blue Sky. That's gaining traction. There's you on the radio.
It's not touching the sides at the moment.
No, not to the same. But I mean, there's only. Eventually, hopefully, it will reach to at least some
This is the crux.
height.
This is the crux of it all. This is the crux of it all. Is that and this is why that message I read out a moment ago from Roger about social media being at the very, very root of all of this is that the truth doesn't matter.
In answer to the question, what's he doing? I mean, I think possibly it's all about displacing a terrible anger that he feels.
That he feels,
yes. Yeah. That he's unable to deal with. He's unable to deal with the actual problem that he's got. So he's displacing it, projecting it into all these other issues. Now, the reason I'm saying this is that there was a really good documentary on the BBC very recently in the past few weeks about him, Musk, his life and all the rest of it. And apparently his daughter transitioned from being a male to a female, and he cannot come to terms with it. He's extraordinarily angry about it. Now, apparently...
How does that translate into an attack on Jess Phillips?
Well, because he can't deal with the real anger.
A little bit more of amateur psychological analysis of Elon Musk is actually welcome at times like this, because the alternative is just to throw your hands up in the air and go, I've got no idea what's going on.